founder of Opus Talent Solutions, a £100 million turnover recruitment business, my guest today is Mr. Darren Ryemill. Now, Darren is an entrepreneur turned investor with a total of 6 exits across the recruitment and technology industries. Despite having won many major awards over the years, including being named the Sunday Times Best Leader 2 years in a row, what's hugely apparent in this episode is those accolades, those awards, don't necessarily form part of the important message and success story that Darren's really keen to get across. For him, it's messages such as, money doesn't bring you happiness. And actually, what is happiness in the first place? When do we actually spend the time to lift the bonnet and really understand ourselves as human beings and invest the time to make sure that both our mental and physical health are at a peak? Really interesting episode, and definitely one I think you'll enjoy. Darren, welcome, and thank you for being here today.
Hi, Charmaine, no worries.
Okay, Darren, talk to me about, and the listeners, in terms of who you are. And when I say who you are, I'm talking the whole person. So who are you personally, professionally, and emotionally? So give us a window into who Darren Ryemill is.
Who is Darren Ryemill? What is Darren Ryemill? Yeah. What is Darren Ryemill? So personally, I'm dad of 5. Got 5 amazing kids. That's easily the most important thing in my life. I've professionally, I've got a number of different investments now. I'm sort of entrepreneur turned investor, still unable to get away from the entrepreneurial side of things, and think I have good ideas all the time, which everyone else tells me are terrible ideas, but I still like it and run with most of them. So I've got about 8 different businesses now, but you know, my platform was built off, primarily the Opus Talent Solutions group, which was a IT renewable energy recruitment business. So that's my background. But in total, and this is something that like most people don't necessarily know, I've had 6 different exits of various different sizes, ranging from technology business, through to the bigger recruitment companies. So that's professionally. And emotionally, was that the other bit?
Should I strap myself in?
Yeah, oh my God. It's like emotionally, I'm a mess, Charmaine. It's like, I don't know.
How do you show up emotionally? Are you open and honest with yourself emotionally? Like, who are you? And there's no right or wrong to this. It's just how you show up. How does Darren show up?
Usually with a smile on my face, just trying to get through stuff and sort of like hopefully jolly the situation along. You know, whatever is going on, I like to try and be positive and happy and sort of put on a brave face. I usually think I'm naturally kind of that positive energy, and usually give people what they want. Is really what I try and do. That's the honest situation about it. I don't know, is that an answer?
It is, no, 100% it is an answer. I think what's interesting about it, though, is, you're hugely successful in your own right as a businessman in terms of entrepreneurial. But there's a few things you said there in terms of with a smile on my face or put a brave face on. And I think this is interesting because you're not alone with those feelings. And I think actually, the word you're looking for maybe is validation. Like there's an external validation that you seek in terms of you've got the success story. But I guess a good question is actually, are you still seeking external validation even though you've ticked lots of different, I guess, formal success boxes when it comes to your professional career?
Look, I think it's very nice to say that I've been successful and stuff, but what is successful? And this is the thing, like, you know, there's plenty there's plenty of people out there that could look at me and think I've done absolutely nothing with my life. You know, in terms of like levels of success, they'll be like, what's this guy ever done? So, you know, and I don't just mean financially, you know, there's lots of people with lots more of everything than, you know, in every walk of life. So, so what is successful is always a kind of subjective starting point, and it's like how you feel, whether you feel successful or not. I'll go back a bit. So 2015, 2016, so specifically about awards, 2015, 2016, I was really fortunate to be named the Sunday Times Best Leader, and in the best places to work. The company that I was running, we were named the second best place to work in the UK, and then the fifth best place to work in the UK, and as a result, I won the Sunday Times Best Leader. But I knew I wasn't that special.
Why?
I was because I was crap. I was crap. That was me at my worst. If you'd have gone back a few years and said, Darren, you're doing a good job, I think, oh, thank you. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing a good job. But in those, and this is it. You kind of you know yourself. You see yourself in a different light to how other people are seeing you for whatever reason. So it's not. So it doesn't mean anything, because it can't mean anything, because it's not true. So you are not this thing. You're not the best recruitment entrepreneur. You are not the blah 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 blah. You're just someone who's going through shit, and that's it. So I don't know. Does that give more colour to it?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think, I know you very well. We've been in business together. I know you professionally, personally. I understand the chapters that you've been through. So I guess I've got a different insight into who you are as a person. And you are an incredible person. But I also think, much like a lot of leaders, business owners, whatever label, entrepreneurs, whatever label you want to give it, I think we're not kind enough to ourselves, I think. And actually, we're all human beings, and we go through different challenging chapters in our lives. And to the outside world, they just see the glitter and the good stuff and the numbers and all the things. And they're like, you're amazing. And on the inside, there's a real man, a dad, a husband, whatever that may look like at different chapters at different points, having a tough time. And I think it feels like there's a direct correlation with how you measure your own success as a person holistically, as opposed to, you don't separate the two, I guess is what I'm saying. Do you think that that's fair?
Yeah, because you are only one of you, and you can see, well, this part of me is doing well, this part of me is doing not so well, whatever. But ultimately, you are you. You are the only you have. And it's kind of, so when you take stock of that, it's very difficult to separate the stuff. And look, it doesn't. I don't think everything I did in 2016 was bad. I don't think that I was the worst person on the planet. I don't think nothing. Maybe at the time I might have done, but it's just that you know what you are. You know when you've done well. And you know when you've got a bit lucky, and you know when, and yeah. So for me, and again, like the money never meant much really. I mean, I was always very conscious that money's a great scoring system. I used to describe it, as the best scoring system in the world. It's like runs in cricket or goals in football. You can count it up. It gives you a number that you can go, hey, look, well, I did well today because I scored 100 runs, or I did well today because I scored 3 goals. And and just the way that money is, it gives you something you can chase and a target to hit. But everyone knows that money doesn't bring happiness. In fact, a lot of people I know that have money would argue strongly the other way. Do you know what I mean? That it's that there probably is a point where you're comfortable and happy, and then there's a point where it's just a pain in the ass.
Has it brought you happiness?
No.
Okay.
Is the easy answer. I think you need to be happy. Look, whether you're poor, like moderately well off, or you have sort of more money. And again, I'm not a billionaire, and quite frankly, probably the drive that sits in a lot of not just the top end people, but all people that are on a mission to get somewhere. That drive, and I don't even need to link it to money, but that drive to achieve something, very often comes from a negative place.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm so wonderful and awesome and amazing, I should really give this to the world in some sort of way. You know, it kind of, you know, there's a self-doubt, there's a am I good enough? Can I do this? You know, what right do I have to do this? And it's usually the chips on your shoulder which sort of propel you forward, as opposed to the comfort and, you know, aren't I great position.
How have you dealt with those chips on your shoulders, or have you? I don't know. Like, have you fully dealt with your ghosts of the past or your demons or those elements?
But I don't know. I think sort of like life kind of just can take the wind out of you a couple of times, can't it? You know, certain different things, and you know, if you are somebody that wants to give, you know, and there'll probably be people that know me that will have different views on me, because we are different people to different people. You know, that's how it works. People, everyone's view of you is different. But you know, I genuinely believe I'm somebody that wants to give, and that's a heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah.
You know, it feels heavy, and like, you know, when you've got like a business and you've got, you know, hundreds of people, you know, that you feel responsible for. You know, it's and you do, and all the best like business owners that I know, you know, they're not like Scrooge on the telly and stuff like this. They're usually caring people that want the best for their team, and they are very often team first and business first, which is why so many businesses, you know, sadly don't work out, and the owner ends up with nothing because they've just given everything. And they didn't, you know, they just kept going and going and going and going. You know, and that's a common thing for entrepreneurs and businesses. You know, that it's, you know, they're often the last man standing.
I mean, you mentioned 2016 as like a pinnacle moment for you, and I guess knowing how you scaled the business and the headcount that you got to it in 2016. What sort of headcount was your business at that stage?
I'm guessing we were a couple of hundred, maybe. Yes, 200 something, I don't know.
So you're going through separation, divorce, you've got headcount of a couple of hundred staff, you've touched upon mental health, and I think this is a really important subject, because you just said then it's important for you to give back. You want to make everyone happy. But how do you make 200 people happy and yourself happy and deal with the challenges of life? You know, what were your coping mechanisms at that sort of stage, and no doubt other events?
So I come up with a methodology, we'll talk about it later, I'm sure. But at that point, I went and got a life coach. And I can remember saying to the life coach, I was like, I just feel that like everyone wants something. I said, like, I feel like, I said, I like just like that, with everyone just plugged in, taking everything, you know, have my blood, have my energy, have everything I have, you know. And you'd walk in somewhere like, you know, oh, I didn't hit my bonus this year, but can I have a bonus because what? And I'm like, okay, and you're like, and it's endless, and for people, and it's people, everyone's doing their own thing, everyone's got their own shit. You know, and it's important to understand and acknowledge that. But I was like, it's just like endless amount of zombies coming at me. I said, I just feel like if I had like Shaun of the Dead, you know, like with baseball bats and records and things like that. I said, I just can't stop the fucking zombies coming at me. And she was like, well, instead of looking at them at zombies, why don't you just sort of like look at them and just try and give them a bit of love, you know, try and see if they'll go away then. And it was like kind of a bit of a shift change in my, it was like, you don't need to fight, you know? And I think for so long, my life, whether it been football, playing football, whether it was sport or work or just me, was very combative. It was very, I felt like I needed to fight. You know, with a smile on my face and in a happy way, but I was fighting, you know, fighting for something. And it was quite nice, because I was like, okay, maybe I don't need to fight everyone all the time. So that was a fucking long-winded way of saying that was a coping mechanism that I sort of like, I kind of had to start viewing things differently and viewing my interactions differently.
You've talked about exits, and there's been a number of different exits that people aren't necessarily aware of, and you're an investor now, so you're investing in lots of different pots. So knowing you, I know that that happiness piece is really important to you. I understand that actually you look at this differently now, probably because of your journey, because of your experience. So what do you do now on that side of things? How do you see, where's the investment for people in terms of making sure they are fulfilled and happy? What's your perception on that?
Well, I think, and I've always felt this, which is why, why when we were experiencing really good results in the business, people that worked in the businesses I worked for were happy. We were named the second best place to work because people were happy. It was direct correlation. That scoring was done from employees' feedback, not from me saying, I think we're a really good place to work, which actually probably at times I didn't, to be fair, I didn't, but like there's, when we have children, and I've never known anyone say anything different. You say, what do you want from your children, right? And everybody that's not an idiot says, I want them to be happy, right? That's the wish that we wish upon everybody. Yeah. And also yourself, in moments of reflection, ultimately we all want to be happy.
Of course.
And we want to be loved, and we want to be cared for and safe and all of these things. But happy is the thing that fuels us. And without getting all too spiritual or too weird on it, I actually think that gives us the energy source that the world needs. Okay, so I think happiness and positivity and the glow that comes off people when we are happy is actually is actually an energy source, which I think is very important, which often gets ignored. Yeah. So for me, it's all about happiness, So when I wasn't happy, and that was when I kind of was like, I need to be happier. I'm going to kill myself. Literally, I was like, look, what can I do? And I was like, well, I'm quite good at business. People tell me. At the time, I had a data analytics business management piece of software, and we were doing some consultancy work with people where we basically measured all aspects of the business, broke it down, measured it, scored it, how do you improve it? And I was like, well, if I was Darren Ryemill Limited and I was coming into myself as a consultant, which kind of sounds a bit wanky, but this is what I thought. I was like, what would I do? And I was like, well, I'd break my life down into components. I'd look at what I was doing and I'd start trying to improve it. So, we can go as deeper or as not with this as you want. But the first thing I was like, so one of the components was like fun and recreation. It was like broke my life down. So one of the things was fun and recreation. And within that, I was like, well, so what do I do for fun? Well, I like playing golf, and I've got, and I love football. And that's pretty much it for fun, outside of spending time with kids or friends or whatever like that. So, and even like the friends stuff, I hadn't played golf, or I'd played golf once in a year.
Okay.
All right. I hadn't been to watch a football match for over 2 years. Wow. So, and I hadn't been out with my friends, like my school friends, like my friends' friends, not work people, but for over 12 months or more. And I was like, well, look, is it any surprise I'm not feeling like I'm having fun? Because the things I think are what I do for fun, I'm not doing. Yeah. So guess what? I'm not having fun. It's beyond simple. So I was like, right, maybe if I go play golf, maybe if I go and go to a football match, maybe if I, do give my mate a call and say, do you want to come out for a beer? Let's do these sort of things. And it's amazing how just by thinking about trying to be happy and what makes you happy, and there's lots of things, and things like at the time, like my finances. So I was really not happy with my finances. I was stressed and anxious about my finances, and anyone that knew me, knew my position, would be like, you're an idiot. You're okay,
Yeah.
all right? You know, it's like I reckon you'll be all right, Darren. You can afford to eat this month and probably next month as well. And as you can see, I did eat this month and next month, whatever. But it's like, but for me inside, so all I needed to do was just like get on top of, like, so what have I got coming in? What have I got going out? What's this? What's this? Things I just let slide.
Yeah.
And then I knew my position a bit more. And I was like, okay, so whether that made me completely happy or not wasn't the point. I'm happier. I have a better understanding. I'm in a more comfortable space. You do this with all aspects of your life, like relationships and things. And you know, before you know it, you're taking actions and your life is better.
I guess
and you're happier.
It's being sort of brave enough and courageous enough to lift the bonnet, isn't it? And kind of say, okay, well, what are those aspects? Like a Trivial Pursuit, like the wedges of cheese. It's like, what are those aspects of my life that will make me a fulfilled, happy person? And am I fulfilling all of them, or some of them, or none of them?
Yeah.
And but sometimes it's hard to hold the mirror up, isn't it? And kind of actually answer those questions.
Well, you've got to want to do it, and it's not something. And you can give people. So we've got this. So one of the businesses is called Hapstar. It's an app. We sell it into businesses. Businesses can then provide it to their staff for their staff to be happier. Now, the business benefits of that are, you know, people that are happy are more productive. Every study ever, you know, and we all know this as business leaders, you know, if somebody walks into the office and they look miserable sitting, they're probably not going to have such a good day as the guy that skips into the office singing and really happy. You know, that's just how it is. And everyone knows this. So you know, not only are they more productive, and that has a direct impact on productivity and bottom line results that way, but they're less likely to leave. Yeah. You know, they're less likely to take sick days, you know, and then the big stuff, you know, things like suicide, you know, and even, you know, like I can talk about this methodology helping me, but we've had feedback already from people out there saying, thank you for this app. Thank you for this. I was in a bad place. I may have hurt myself. This is what I was thinking, and now I'm not.
That's amazing.
Now, some businesses would be like, oh, what's the use of this? Well, look, if that guy that was going to kill himself logs in once in a year, all right, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
And if he's the only person in your whole business that logs in, that's a good thing, okay? It's worth every penny that you can possibly 100%. Pay on it. People will be like, oh, but we need all of our staff to log in every 10 minutes. Well, you're like, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. It needs to be on them to do it when they want to do it. If they want to do it every week, and we have some people be like, I want to track my well-being, I want to track my mood, I want to track my happiness every week. And this is an ongoing thing. Like some people stand on the scales every week. Some people won't stand on the scales for years and years and years. And then when they do, it's like, right, I need to do something about this. Okay? People have this different thing. So look, so we create this tool. It's really good. The ambulance service have now taken it on and they're using it. So I'm so proud of that. You know, the fact that the NHS that see all of this kind of stuff, you know, all of this well-being, wellness stuff, mental health stuff, you know, that the NHS, the ambulance service are championing this for their own staff. I'm so proud of that. You know, in terms of you know, this little thing that was created because I wanted to be happier. I wanted to live, you know, has now been picked up by, you know, people that know what they're talking about. You know, we've got like psychologists, doctors, lots of medical professionals that have really contributed to this. And it's great. It's a really good
but
tool.
what a difference, though. What a difference you're making to people's lives. And like you say, if it's just one person in 1 year that makes a difference to, and that saves their lives, that is fundamentally the best thing you've ever done and invested in. And actually, the core of you, as you said at the very beginning, is you do want to help other people. You do want to make a difference. And let's be honest, your style is very different, and you know you will. We'll get
What's my style, Shani?
You're Marmite, but I love you. I do love you, and actually, the way you talk is very honest and very real, and it will resonate with so many people. And I think actually the fact that you've been so honest and upfront in terms of your emotions, but I think the beauty in Hapstar in terms of what you've created is that self-awareness, that self-analysis, and that layer of comfort for people to know that actually I can do this in my own time and I can measure myself without feeling embarrassed or worried about the reaction. I can do this and this is something for me. And I think, as we said before, how often do you gift yourself that kindness and time and press pause?
But it's also, so like, again, just to give you an insight, no, it's not a Hapstar advert, but it's just actually about, by companies giving it to their staff, it's actually a good thing. You're actually saying, are you okay? You're not asking them anything you shouldn't be asking them in a good review anyway.
Yeah.
Are you happy with your manager? Are you happy with the job you're doing? Are you happy with are you okay? You're asking, and you're giving that person the opportunity to answer this in their own time, at a time they want to answer the question.
Absolutely.
Whatever. So one of the clients we work with, and it's amazing. So one client, everybody that was female in the organisation fed back at one time that they felt undervalued. So if you look at this, how the way it's scored, their average score for how valued do you feel was less. Now, this is information that they wouldn't have got
ordinarily,
because not every female is comfortable to go to their manager in their review and go, I feel undervalued.
Absolutely.
And actually, they may not have even realised they felt undervalued. It was only when put alongside the other scores, you can say, well, they're scoring higher on everything else, but when it comes to value, they don't feel, so they may not have even been aware that it was a problem. So we've gone, do you realise this? They're like, God, we don't want that. And, we sort of sat there and said, well, why don't you call in, the members of staff that feel this way, that have given this, get somebody in who's like a senior person in the business and tell them why they are valued.
Yeah.
It's not a bullshit exercise. You're not lying. You're saying, look, do you realise this business wouldn't function without you?
Yeah.
Your job is important. The job you do here is really valuable because without it, this wouldn't happen. The next time they did it, so they use it as their review process, they use it monthly. The next time they did it, every female in the organisation now feels above average value. One conversation, one picking up from that. So you now have a situation where those people, have had a big swing in how they feel about one subject. Now, that doesn't mean they're now blissfully happy at work and whatever, but with that specific subject in mind, the business has had a positive effect. But more importantly, for that person,
absolutely,
they feel like it's a positive. They feel valued.
And we all want to feel valued.
Isn't that good?
Absolutely.
So anyway, I know I can give you more examples of where you get these like really quirky sets of results.
But you're passionate about it as well. Like I can see it. Like you're excited and passionate about it because actually that's a tool you've never had before. And sometimes it's a school of hard knocks, right? You go through these chapters unaided, unsupported, and you can't change it. We can't change the past, but to look forward positively and say, actually, I can impact other people's happiness and their futures and hopefully avoid as many bumps in the road. And you can't change it completely, but you can certainly support and help, can't you, to move to a better, more positive outcome for people in terms of a measure.
Exactly. Like anyone that worked closely with me, I think will tell you how much I cared about the people I work with. I really did. I know I did, and maybe not everyone feels that, knows that, sees it, but I think the people that work closely would be able to say, God, he spent a lot of time thinking about that person to help them or that person like that. That person may not see it, think it. They might think that I'm a bastard for not doing enough to help them. And that is the truth. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that think, that I failed them in some way, and that does upset me. Actually, it hurts me sort of like to think that I couldn't get it right as much as I wanted.
Does that not come down to everyone is a huge judge? Everyone's going to have an opinion and judge, but actually, if we stop judging ourselves and actually believe that our intentions were good and there is a huge heart and a caring ethos at the core of you, that's enough.
Yeah, and that's so I definitely agree with that. That was one of the shift changes I needed to do. Focus on me and my intentions, and know that I'm trying to do good.
Absolutely.
And that allowed me to see myself as a good person, if that's the correct term.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was trying to do good. If I focused on the results, the output, it's difficult because you sometimes you fail, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes things become complicated, or you have a falling out with somebody and whatever, and it.
I hear you. Okay, so you picked 2 vulnerability cards before we come on air, so I'm going to read those to you now. First one you picked was how do you deal with self-criticism, and what advice would you share to help stamp out negative thinking?
So somebody once told me the best thing about being a human being is you can choose what you think. Mm-hmm. Now, that can be really difficult at times to choose what you think because you feel bombarded with something or you feel unable to this, but you can, and your perception can shift. And what you view as a big problem, you can view as a big opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I'll give you a very, very personal example. Something that was really and to this day still upsets me. So when I was going through this tough time, like my 2 oldest kids, when I was going through the divorce, my 2 eldest girls, they wouldn't tell me that they love me, and I was like, I love you, 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 all the time. So I've always been like that, and they always say back, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's great, and that was, and they're just unable to, and it's horrible, like horrible to a level that like it really was killing me, really killing me. And then I kind of just I read somewhere in a book, and it was like, look, I need to focus on what I can do. If I'm going to judge my happiness on what they do, that's not fair on me. Yeah. And it's also not fair on them. Yeah. Because I'm putting all of my happiness in their hands like this. God, and you're in control. Yeah. Completely unfair. They don't even know that they're in control of this. So I was like, right, I know that I'm going to do everything I can to show them love. That's what I'm in control of. And then that become my mission. So rather than I want this outcome to happen, which I do, I want that every day. Yeah. I want it so badly, but I can't control that. I can control my input. And my input is just being as loving and as caring and giving that I can. So it's back to that, you control what you think. And if what you're thinking isn't working, change it. Yeah. Change your angle on it.
Change the dialogue in your own brain.
Exactly, yeah. Because then that whole, you're a piece of shit because your kids don't love you because they won't tell you they love you. And they do love me, and I know they do. Yeah. Becomes, you're a good guy. Yeah. You're doing everything you can, and so your dialogue changes. So I think that's that's the best advice I think that I was given.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I think that's really important as well. But I think the importance with the dialogue in your own brain is the continuous effort for that, because you don't just say it once and you're healed and you're fixed and the negativity goes away. It's the continual investment, isn't it, of constantly telling yourself that. It's like, you are a good guy, you've got this, you love them, you're in control of X, and I'm going to make this happen. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's really good. Second card you picked was, what's been the best piece of advice you've received at your lowest point, and what difference did it make?
Okay. Kind of just answered that there, I guess, to some degree. But so this is something. So nothing lasts forever. Yeah. Things will get better. And that's true on the other side as well. When you're thinking you're at the top, nothing lasts forever. Yeah. So wherever you are, enjoy it as much as you can. And whether, and like I said, and whether, so when you're feeling like you're at the bottom, it won't last forever. Yeah. Keep going, because things do get better. And I always used to preach this. I always used to say to people, nothing lasts forever. Every relationship is finite, in terms of when you're working with people. Get the most out of every moment or every what you can. I always used to preach this all the time to people. you sometimes lose it yourself. You know,
Yeah.
so we're not always the best at taking our own advice, are we?
Is there anything in terms of parting final thoughts or yeah, that you'd want to
Look,
sort of leave listeners with?
This has been quite interesting, actually. It's been sort of like quite nice to sort of like to do this little sort of like journey. But yeah, I think I like it when people play with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When people have fun, you know, like I've learned from my life, you know, that, you know, it is about having fun. You know, it is about smiling and enjoying yourself. And if you're not having fun, if you're not smiling, if you're not enjoying yourself, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, we should have demands that this is the minimum that we expect from ourselves. You know, in terms of give ourselves chance to be happy. Again, without going on too down a rabbit hole, somebody sort of said to me not so long ago, they're like, what would 47-year-old Darren advise 5-year-old Darren or something like that? And I'd just be like, just have fun, just keep playing, just be happy, you know, like, and when you sort of see yourself as that small kid inside of you, that kid deserves happiness. Like you want your kids to be happy.
Yeah.
The kid inside of you deserves to be happy too. And, you know, so all of us have that responsibility to keep that kid playing, to keep that kid happy. So yeah, that would be my my sort of
your inner child.
Whatever, yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty as always. And I know you hate the word, but thank you for showing up authentically. Authentically, Darren Ryemill was here today, he showed up. So thank you. And actually, you know what, there's a lot of what you said that will resonate with so many people. And you're doing a good thing. You know, your investments will change lives and make a difference. So I'm very proud of you and I appreciate you being here today.
Thanks, Charmaine.
Thank you.
Cheers.